Good morning, McKenzie County, and welcome to the Living in McKenzie County podcast. Thank you for joining us. We have kind of an exciting announcement to let the community in on, and also we're going to just go around the room with our guests. I am referring to them as the ultimate team members, team players. They will pick up and run anything that's asked of them, but we're going to spend the hour talking about the formation of the Watford City High School and Watford City Middle School Activities Booster Club. And I have with me today a group of people that have worked really hard on getting that established. So we're going to visit about what that is, its mission, its goals, and also ask you to put a placeholder in your calendar for an upcoming event that they have that we want you to know everything about. And so what we're going to do is just laps around the table, but I'm going to start going to my right. So we're going to start with Justin Hager, self-introductions.
Justin Hager. I am a high school PE teacher and also teach leadership character development class, head boys basketball coach, and sort of was part of organizing and reaching out to people to start this booster club. So that was sort of my role and my duty, and I feel like we got a great group of people and from all rounds of from Watford City, and just that played different roles in the community. So that was my role.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being with us today, Justin. And like I said, we're going to take multiple laps around the table. And so we will definitely hear from you again. Next, let's move over to Pam. Pam, self-introductions, please.
Okay. I'm Pam Moen. I'm a literacy coach for McKenzie County Public School District. I've been teaching here in McKenzie County since 2011. I was in Southern Nevada for 19 years and taught there. We came back home in 2011. My husband is a family who's been in McKenzie County since 1909 or before that, homesteading. So this is really his home, our family's home. We brought our families with us. So I have grandchildren growing up in McKenzie County. And so one of the reasons that I volunteered to be part of the Booster Club is that I have grandkids coming through this system and generations of hopefully, after that. But my daughters both teach in McKenzie County. And so we are involved in many activities. So that was one of the reasons that kind of drove me into the place of wanting to be part of the Booster Club.
Very cool. Very good. Thanks, Pam. And Angie.
Hi, yes, Angie Pelton here, community member. My husband grew up here. We've been living back here in Watford City since 2008. I just had a graduating senior this year, but I have an incoming sophomore, female athlete, and she just loves being part of sports. So I definitely have had that need to be a part of that and making sure that we can do anything as community members and parents to help those kids in their activities at the school. So I was very excited to jump on board and get this organization going. Obviously, it's new. We haven't had a booster club in a long time, so there'll be some bumps, but we're anxious to kind of get things rolling here and get some events and some memberships coming in.
Very good. I'm going to just set the table a little bit before we go back around and talk about the goals and the mission of the club. I just worked on a project recently where I went through many years of the digital yearbook. Sure. So just a real quick shout out to Brad Foss and the work that the activities department did with digitizing those yearbooks. They are really a treasure. But looking at the rich history of Watford City activities, whether it is pep band, choir, all of the sporting activities, it's really always been a powerhouse and high participation rate in activities. We've seen a change in demographic, which I think has probably impacted those rates and seen them decline a bit. But when we talk about what the mission of the Booster Club is and the need to form it, can we go around the room and talk about how each of you see that opportunity to make activities stronger and better in our community for our youth?
Yeah, one of our goals is to provide financial support to the activities and athletics department. We want to be able to give the best equipment to our activities department. So they're able to go out and compete, at the highest level that we can. So, so not only just the financial part, but just the community engagement. We want people to come out and have fun with us and get to know our athletes and get to know our drama kids and just really be a part of it. And I think that's one thing you hear a lot of people that maybe have lived here for a long time, grew up here, it's just not the same, but things are changing, not just here in McKenzie County, but all across the country. And I think we have to learn to adapt to what the new activities department look like, and getting more involvement from the kids is really where it starts too, and the players and the kids participating in the activities.
So if I heard you, I hear two goals coming out. One is community engagement, and two is student participation.
Absolutely.
Two goals. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I really see that. The community we came from before we moved back home was about 40 to 50,000 people, depending on, we were fast growing in Southern Nevada. And that was, even a struggle then, in the early 2000s of getting people in the stands and things like that. And, here in a smaller community, you hope like more hometown pride and things like that. And there are those people that still do that, but I'm even guilty of not always attending games because you get busy and we all get busy with things. And so that's our goal as the Booster Club, is try to get people in the seats, try to see if we can get more community engagement and getting those stands. Because you know what, that just helps our athletes feel appreciated and feel what do you call it?
The desire, that excitement. And that excitement too. Yeah. When you look up and you have, the same thing, even just the play, the theater, where you look out and the stands are full. I mean, there's that excitement. And, that's what we want to get back to. And of course, you'll hear people say, the sports need to be better. But at the end of the day, we still need to support them and hopefully have that, that sense of community that gets people back into the stands.
And really, it's a fundamental question of the chicken or the egg.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you see participation increase through community support and alignment? Do you see community and support and alignment through, wins and losses? Like, I think this is an opportunity through the mission of the boosters for the community to look inside itself and see where we want to be as a community. It's a great opportunity to reevaluate.
Well, I just think about being a Vikings fan. We don't win very often, but we still got those fans, diehard fans.
We're still their fans, yeah.
And a great stadium and a great pregame and game production.
Exactly. Yes. And so, and again, I know a lot of people my husband was on winning teams. He was on football when football was really strong with Fred and wrestling, and he's got the Badlands Conference Championship trophy when they give the trophies out, or whatever. A couple years back anyway, he's got the team ones, the conference teams, and he displays them in his office at City Hall. But it's just funny because, it was that way. And I think that's what people want to see again. And again, that's what we're here for. We're here to support all of that.
One of the centennial projects that we did as a community is we documented our first 100 years. Yeah. And Fred Fridley was interviewed in that documentary. And I remember him talking about it's not the wins and losses. Yep. It is the camaraderie that you build as a team and as a community and those fond memories you have of your lifelong friends. Just kind of maybe shifting over to this side of the table, Coach, you work with culture development, with leadership. Can you talk about the things, one, that you see in the school district? I've heard you talk fondly about our kids, but also can you talk about how this Booster Club can really amplify, shift, grow that culture to a place where it's fondly remembered by those who experienced it in the past, but it is its own. It's its new generation. It's its own being, because we don't want to be the same. We want to be better.
Yeah.
Right. Well, first, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. So, so talking about not, a long history of losing.
Yes. Okay.
Like with that. But
If
anyway,
you haven't found the other two Detroit Lions
there's not
fans in
many.
the community, we can help you find
not
those
many.
folks.
There's not many. Well, I grew up in Linton, North Dakota, which is a small rural town, south of Bismarck, and with Class B school that has a long tradition of winning in all sports, and in the community involvement, no matter they're winning or losing, was always at games. And even if they didn't have kids playing in the game, the grandparents would go, or they would still go to games. And being around our kids, I think they themselves, wish that more people were in the stands, being around them and talking to them in class, and I guess students supporting other student athletes, right? Because looking at our programs, they're all multi-sport. We have very little single sport athletes, and we're up to like 615 kids in our high school, I think, and it's growing. But there's not 615 kids that play sports. So I think getting, there's a lot of people that are moving back to Watford City that are alumni, right? That grew up here and they remember their traditions and they remember that. I think there's more of that, especially like in our elementary and middle school with the younger families maybe moving back and having kids and growing kids here. So I think the vibes is turning. I think part of the Booster Club obviously is getting community engagement, but also making it important and making people aware of what's going on. I think there's people that don't always know what's going on, or if there's a fundraiser going on for athletics and activities, and getting the word out and advertising that and making the people that have been here for years come back and check it out. There's people maybe that haven't been in the new facilities, but they've lived here and they haven't seen. I ran a youth camp this weekend, and my uncle was up helping with her basketball camp for Bismarck High. One his kids, and he hadn't been up here since, for years. And I took him through a tour of the facilities. He couldn't believe it. And he has, in-laws that are McKenzie County Bay, so he couldn't believe it. He's like, you guys have all this, why wouldn't people want to be part of this? And he's like, I've never, even in playing in the WDA, seen facilities like this. So I think part of that is just getting the word out on what's going on with our athletic programs and finding ways to get people in the stands or making it important alumni games. Alumni games, honoring the alumni that have been here and then getting them in the stands. And like I said, having grandkids that are going to be here at some point are going to be important. So it's going to take a village, and that's why I think we have a great group of people on the board that are totally vested, that have kids in the program, have grandkids that are coming up. I think that's going to be huge, and we're excited about it. I'm excited about it because I think it's turning in the right direction.
Cool. So before we talk more about your full board, because we have 2 representatives from the board, but it's a bigger board than 2. Before we move on to that, because I'm forgetful, when you identified 2 groups, 2 populations that I think are target, core, prime for getting fans in the stands, and that is community members, and that is student body. And I'm going to put a challenge out to my junior because he oftentimes is tired and goes home and doesn't show up to support those girls. And I always say, kid, you are never going to find yourself a prom date if you don't show up and support. So what can parents do at home to encourage their students to be a part of the cultural solution and be a fan in the stands rather than not? I mean, what can parents do at home? And what comes to my mind is the whole family get in the car. But even if mom and dad just say, I got littles at home, I'm tired. Like, what can they be messaging to their middle school and high school age students to get them to the activities or even become members of the activities?
I guess my first initial thought is this is the only time in your life you're going to get to do it. You're passing up what could be a really good experience. I mean, you get 4 years of high school and that's it, and you never get it back. Mm-hmm. So as engaged you can be, I think people find more happiness when they're more involved with their community and they're making new friendships. So I think, yes, get out there and be involved with it, and I think you'll find some growth in yourself with it too.
Anybody else want to throw some suggestions out there to listeners? I
mean, I think when you have things going on between maybe at halftime of games, having our youth play at halftime of games, having our youth perform at halftime of games, getting them here, which means middle school, elementary kids, having their parents or take it right there involved in things. And also even as a teacher, I love to go and watch the kids play their other sports if they aren't. I love to go to volleyball games. I love to go to track meets if I can get to them and watch them. But encouraging, to have different events at each home event planned that we can get involvement in, that gives a reason for parents to bring their kids, or maybe one of our high school kids has a sibling that's performing at halftime. I mean, so I think the kids notice who's in the stands.
Absolutely.
They absolutely do. And it changes the environment, and it changes the whole vibe of the game, whether it be the student body, the student council, the clubs that we have on campus, really supporting theme nights and different things. I mean, they try. They do. I mean, it is advertised during the school day. It's put on announcements. This is what we're, so it is there. But it's just a matter of, what else is going on?
Sure.
It can't be that, it's not like there's a lot going on home games of events, whether it be football games, basketball games, volleyball games. So I think it's gonna be a collaborative effort with a lot of different, people and families.
And I think it's one of the keys there too is to get the kids involved in creating these events too. When they're coming up with ideas and they want to be a part of it because they've come up with this. So I think that will be a huge part. And I know that's something that we're looking to do too, is get the students involved in these activities.
Yeah, that's part of our planning processes in the beginning was just how do we engage? How do we get kids engaged? How do we get fans engaged? What can we do? So if people have ideas of that, please share them with us, because that's the great thing about Watford right now too, is that we have a very multicultural city, society, however you want to reference it, but is the fact that we have people that have come from all over the place, right? And so they've seen different things. We would like to see if there are things that worked in their communities that they thought were really fun and successful. That's one of the things that our board is looking for too. And it was interesting when we started the board, the first meeting, most of us were all at that meeting, and it still was a lot of local people, right? And again, or just off a local, right? I wasn't born and raised here, but my husband was. But really wanting to invite other people that haven't always been here to be part of that and encourage them to become active.
So what I hear is looking for ideas, want to hear ideas. So if you're listening in, and you came from a community that had something that just rocked the event, made it just really something that would be great to look at implementing here. Angie, what is your Facebook page name?
Yeah, so it's Watford City Booster Club, and then underneath it says Wolfpack Booster Club. So yes, reach out to us there, and any questions you have or anything that you'd like to say, hey, let's do this. We enjoyed the heck out of this where I came from. That's what we're looking for, is new ideas, because, we don't want to keep trying to do the same thing. We want to come up with new ideas to get people back in the stands. So yeah, anybody that's interested in helping out, definitely let us know.
Okay, very cool. Of course, I will not claim the Vikings as my team. I really will not claim any team, but my family is definitely Vikings fans through and through. And I'm always happy to go to a game in the nice stadium and the really cool production piece. So I think those things really make it worth people's time to
And we have all the facilities.
Yes.
Everything. We have the auditorium to the football field to the volleyball rinks. I mean, we have all of the facilities. So yes, I think we're missing that part of all that extra activities that really draws people and that sense of community with the student athletes.
And I won't go into the details of what we're working on, but I would encourage everybody to come out to the activities this year, because I think there will be some additional fun and exciting things that we haven't seen in the past. So So we don't forget, now might be a good time to share who's on the board. So if you have ideas, you reach out through Facebook and or you know these folks and you want to share ideas or you want to connect, become a member of the Alumni Association, support the Booster Club, support the Booster Club. Who else is on the board that people could connect with?
Our president is Tim Feldall. I'm the vice president, Pam Moen. Angie Pelton is our secretary, and then Kelsey Wold is our treasurer. And then we have
Katie Walters, and then Katie Lynch, Nicole Morton, and Candace Junker.
Okay,
So
perfect.
And then we have some other people that are not directly on the board, but are sit with and help with our boards, such as Mariah Pavick. Who else?
Vanita's been there.
Vanita.
Mr. Foss, his wife too.
Bonnie Foss.
Yep, just some other community people coming in to help out with things. So that's been nice
Erin
too.
Feldall.
Yep,
She
Erin.
does a lot of work. She works on our social media stuff, and she does a lot of work with that. So she and I kind of manage the Facebook page. So going back and forth, just trying to, if you have a message, you can send it to us there. We also have an email that's attached to that is if you need to get a hold of us that way. But I know not everybody has a Facebook, but eventually I suppose we could push to more formats. But that was initially the easiest way to at least start that way. So
Definitely. Let's spend enough time talking about a big event that you guys have coming up. So we, one, don't forget about it, and two, have enough time to flush all the details out of it. But can you talk a little bit about your upcoming golf scramble?
Yeah, so August 12th. So the activities and athletics department's been putting on a golf scramble for years. So one of the goals of the Booster Club too is that fundraising's just being done by the Booster Club. So there's not multiple teams and multiple groups going out to all of the companies in town asking over and over again. So that's the goal too, is that money's come into the Booster Club side of it. And so the Booster Club has now taken over the scramble that's been happening for, I'd say, the last 10, 15 years at least. I think the Wolves Scramble's been going on. So that's August 12th. Registration is out. And we're looking for a competitive side and a fun side. So there's definitely some people that really just want to go out there and they're all about winning and getting the prize money. And then there's the people that don't really golf and they just want to come and support and have fun. And so we are having a back nine and a front nine.
yeah, this is the first time we've only played the 9. So this is the first time that we've taken up the whole course. And then we're playing. The idea is that the one set of 9 will be played by the people who are out there for fun, like me. I'm not competitive. I'm not a competitive golfer. And then those that want to competitively do the scramble, then they'll do the other 9. So kind of to get a mixture. And again, to have more teams, get more people involved. Our athletic department, their coaches, they'll be out there helping out. If you want to volunteer and come out, we're also looking for sponsors for sponsor holes. There's a lot of activities we're planning. It's just that it's all coming together now, but will be a silent auction, I believe. The times on the registration will show what time we're going to start out. We're starting a little registration a little earlier, but
I won't tee off until after 5 o'clock.
yeah,
so,
but tee off's at 5.
Yeah.
But we have to, you have to be.
So per team, what is the
Fund size
registration?
is about $100 per person, so $400 a team, and then the competitive side is $600 a team, so $150 a person. So.
And to register, is there a location yet to do that where people can register? Is that coming out? Where should people look?
That'll be online here on our Facebook. We'll put it all out there.
Okay.
Yes.
On the Facebook page.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And do you typically have a fundraising goal, and where are those funds allocated for? Like, what's the goal?
I don't know if we have a a specific goal.
I don't know if there's a specific dollar amount. I think for us, I mean, like I said, us just newly forming this group, we haven't really got into the nuts and bolts of exactly what's all needed for the activities department. So I know they've done this in the past, and I don't know if Coach knows what they've raised in the past, but we obviously want to exceed that. So definitely trying to get more numbers there, and definitely with sponsorships. We will have some sponsorships available for holes. We don't want to overdo fundraising like events. We want to do some big ones throughout the year, so we're able to maximize, our funds through those
quality events.
Yes.
That with have a lot of good quality event that will, so we don't get saturated with too many all throughout the year. So I think
small things,
small things, and we'll have some like little things that have been at the. I was just thinking about that when you were talking, but some other activities like a putting contest, a chipping contest, things that we've done in the past that are part of the scramble, those will all be part of it too. And then there'll be a dinner or part of the scramble like it has been in the past. So all the things that have been in the past, we're including, and then hopefully some additional things. So.
Very cool. On the silent auction side, so I assume you have some highlight items lined out already. Are you still accepting more items?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yes.
We're trying to collect as many things as we can for our silent auction items.
So if you're interested,
get a hold of us.
Yes, we'd love to take anything that people would enjoy.
And we're going to be
on.
reaching out to businesses and individuals about, sponsorships. Ideally, we would like whole sponsors. If a company wanted to come out and sponsor a hole and have a game or have, some activity or be a whole sponsor, they could have their tent out there just like they kind of do for the oil golf scramble, the petroleum golf. Is it a scramble or tournament or whatever?
Tournament.
The Birds and Birdies event?
Or
okay.
different ones, but they'll have whole sponsors. So
okay, very cool. Anything else you want the listeners to know about regarding the scramble?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We want to see as many people out there as we can. It's always it's on the 12th. So about 11 days before school starts.
Yeah.
So, or whatever that is.
We're limited to 36 teams.
Correct. Yep. So when that registration comes out, get signed up and talk to your friends. Even if you're not a big golfer, it's more for fun. So you can do the fun side. If you are a big golfer, you can do the competitive side. So we'll have good food out there. And like I said, if you're a business that wants to come, bring your tent. If you want to come out there and hand out things to people, we would love for that too. So reach out to one of us, and any ideas you would have in auction items too. We would love to have that. So
and not just Angie and I, but like Erin Feldall, Mariah Pavick, she's part of our fundraising committee, Candace Juniker, Nicole Morton, anyone.
Yeah.
Just a couple other things. And I know that, well, I'll recognize this. When Pat Bertinoli was here in the community, he always worked so hard for connecting students with the community.
Yeah.
One of the events that he brought to the community was every year at the Watford Market, he would have Meet the Wolves. And so we are planning to do that again this year. We're going to do it a little later because just when school starts and the way all that the calendar falls, this, that, and the other. So that's going to be Thursday, the August 28th. And so I would encourage anybody listening, if you're at the market that week, it's open mic night at the market. Please stick around, and we're going to get every coach that's available that evening there to talk real briefly about their program or their team coming up that year or this year. And so people will have the opportunity to meet the wolves.
So Justin's not going to sing for the open mic night?
But we haven't selected the song yet. I suppose
Probably
it could
not.
be the school song.
Yeah.
I feel like that's always good install right there. But
Well, that's good to know that's the 28th because that might be a good kickoff for a membership drive
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And that's the other part of it too. It's not only the scramble, but we are working on our membership drive for the Booster Club. And we are also looking, again, for business sponsors, not just for the scramble, but for the Booster Club as a whole throughout the school year. So again, hopefully this is ideally for the Booster Club is that rather than having multiple people coming to you and saying, all right, will you support the wrestling, the high school wrestling team, the high school basketball team, the high school cheer team, all of those things, or the speech or the whatever, all the activities in the high school and middle school, ideally it will be then, it will go to the Booster Club. The Booster Club is the one who will get those sponsorships, the money. They will have the money for the activities.
so you're looking right now. I know you're still in the process of creating your 501c3 and getting your articles of incorporation fully adopted, all of those things. But the thought being you're going to have activities that the community can benefit from, adds vibrancy programming to the community, things that are experience, entertainment, value add to the community. You're also going to do memberships, business, alumni, some different levels of membership.
Individual.
Okay. And then the thought being, and we do hear this, they're businesses, we have the most generous business culture in our community, but honestly, there's some fatigue. And so the thought being different programs, organizations, clubs will still have their own events that they host, but that those sponsorships and fundraising efforts will be centralized through Booster Club.
Correct. So, I mean, and they're still kind of figuring that out with the activities department, like if they're going to let them do a small fundraiser, just let's say the volleyball team wants to do something. So that's that. But the bigger scale stuff and sponsorships from corporations will go through the Booster Club. So, and we do have our 501c3 set up already. So we're just we got our bank account yesterday or today, and we're just kind of like doing all of the things to make sure we're up and running to start this membership drive. And yeah, we're going to be offering, passes to the games with these memberships, a decal for your car. So there are some added benefits to being a member other than just, helping support the activities department.
Okay, very good. I kind of want to kick it back over to the other side of the table and maybe reaching out again to the listening public on the coaching side.
Yep.
So I'll use my junior as an example. We started basketball in 3rd grade. We did Little Wolves. We did travel. We did all the things. But people move into the community and we have lots of programs, soccer. I'm missing probably a lot that are new to the community. We are in so much need of participation. Coach, what can you say to parents that maybe they're just moving to town or their kids, I feel like the oldest always is the victim of this. They don't realize how early these things start, but maybe they have kids that are a couple years behind. But what can you say to them in terms of the ability to participate, the value of participation, and the fact that you can always catch up?
Yeah, I think, there's so much available here, I think, for all levels of kids from all the way down to kindergarten to high school, right? And we just keep adding sports as we go. So now we've added boys and girls soccer, and those numbers were great, and they're continuing to grow, and they had some success. And so that's going to be huge. I think that's just the tip of it. I think we're going to continue to add sports. There's if we're talking with other sports, it could be tennis, could be hockey, it could be other things that we have the facilities for that are going to engage, our youth, and our numbers. I think the biggest thing is like giving kids the experience, right? And as they're not going to remember games, but they're going to remember experience. And part of our Booster Club is for coaches to, if they want to give the kids an experience, to reach out and ask for help. Right now, it's not going to happen every year, but if you want to do something that's maybe not the norm, having that ability to do that. And maybe, it's about, for meals with kids, right? Or giving them something for road trips, for stuff that's maybe that the school district doesn't supply, right? It could be, it could be gear. It could be stuff that maybe, coaches don't have the ability to fundraise for. So I think there's just a lot there that's available, and there's so many, it is a supportive community, and I think they will do anything for you, and there's a lot of help there. But once again, those certain people don't want to be hit up 15 times either. So I said we want to minimize that. And I think what Pam said is like doing big fundraisers that are community-based, that gets people there, which if they have a student athlete in the program, I mean, I think it's easy to get information on athletics here, whether it be on Facebook and ask, like a new family moving to town, reach out to the athletic office. If you're part of a Facebook page or What's Up Watford or whatnot, there's so many people part of that, hey, when does registration start for football? When does registration start for fall sports? All that's already open now. And so I think it's you got to sort of, the culture of everything, you got to sort of own it, right? And I think we all have to be part of that, of changing it into the best possible place. And I think opportunities are limitless here, just based on being here. This is my third year in Watford, and it reminds me of a lot of home, just based on how people are willing to give and support, but also the demographics here, people from all over, right, which I think is real life. That's what real life is. And I think, that's part of our growing community, and it's going to get better, and it's going to continue to grow. So
I think you just used terminology, used a phrase that hit hard on me, and I think it's worth repeating. And I'm all about shout outs on this platform because it's always fun to recognize those who are going above and beyond. When you talked about own your culture, when I think about what the Booster Club is working towards, the goals, I don't want to see a repeat or a replay of what the Watford City Wolves were in the 1990s.
Agreed.
I want to see a culture of excellence, a culture of responsibility to each other, to community. And I really want to shout out to Kildare as a community. They came up to our Region 4 hosted basketball tournament, and I watched some pretty magical things happen. That student body showed up, and they all showed up, and they were loud and rowdy. And you could just see as the fans raised their energy, that scrappy little team who, not overly talented, not overly just a really good unit of kids playing together as one. You would just see them elevate. And I thought, we want to be ourselves, but that is a good example to look to. And so I am really excited for what the Booster Club has. They're bringing as a challenge, a vision, and it's no one part of us that should be responsible for it alone. We need to collectively come together as a student body, a team of coaches, a community, parents, grandparents. Get out of your house, get in the stands, be fans, get off the seats. I just think we are at a pivotal moment where we can really go from a community that's been growing at a rapid pace for the last 15 years, trying to survive, to now we can identify ourselves, own our culture. To me, this is very exciting. So I'm a little passionate about it, probably because of the age of my child and also being from here and seeing the opportunity. But
and I think our kids, when they go to other schools and they see the student body pack, they're like, hey, they were. I always tell our kids, I want there to be a party in the stands.
Yeah.
I want it to be rowdy. I want not to, I want it hard to play here. When you come here, that we're going to be on you. And that's, kids want to be part of that because they go places and, whether it be Dickinson High or whether it be other places, WA, and it's like, hey, those fans, everybody there. There was a whiteout and it was packed. Who wouldn't want to be, part of that, whether you're a team playing against it or making them be quiet or whatever the case is. Same with football, right? And so, we'll have to be accountable. Everybody has to be accountable for it, though. Like, we can sit there and talk about it, but acting on it and getting people in there is going to be the next step. Like, we can have all this out, but like really people want to change. I mean, they have to be proactive on it too. And I think, it's going to take people, but like, I'm excited as well for it because I think the kids want that. And it can't just be the athletes that want it, right? The kids that play sports. It's got to be their friends and people that want to go support their buddies. And because that's what it's about, right? That's you go to Watford. Hey, they're gonna have people there, like, and they're gonna be, they're gonna be heckling you, but it's gonna be a fun environment. So I think, and it's fun to coach in that environment. Like, it's fun to
when there's a hype,
When there's a hype, it's fun to coach that environment. Hey, it's packed. Like, the kids are like just jacked because they feel like
there's energy.
There's energy, and I just call it juice.
Yeah.
There's juice. Like, hey, bring it. Like, and so getting people there that maybe don't normally come to games, just get them there once, and maybe have incentives to get them there.
Well, and I know even so as a grandparent, right? My youngest daughter graduated from Watford City High School. So we came her last 2 years of high school. And we went and watched. She was playing basketball, so we, then we didn't have anybody for quite a few years. And now we've got grandkids coming through. But the one thing that brought us to games in a lot of ways is just what Justin had said earlier, like those little Wolves games, going there and watching them do that. When I first got back home, the Badlands Gymnastics used to do a halftime show, right? So even, basketball is a little easier, but even like football, volleyball, I don't know what you can do for in between to get, but again, they need the support too. But then I also work with colleagues that, the colleagues that I work with are like speech teachers or speech coaches and other activities too. And I know sometimes they feel like, athletics gets a lot of attention. We kind of are like, we're the speech people. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I get that. But, again, that's what the Booster Club, it's not just athletics though. It's for band, it's for speech, it's for drama, it's for all of those activities too. So,
and maybe another challenge is for the participants, the student athletes and the student participants, make that invitation. Pat and Eva Bertinoli always tell the story of Lindsay Peterson. I don't know if it was her junior or senior year, but she went to them and said, would you come to one of my games? And they were pretty honest about it. We probably never would have come to a game, but that invitation got us in the door the first time. We loved it. And then pretty soon they were at every single game. So making that invitation as a student athlete and a student participant. So.
Well, as a former kindergarten teacher, I don't currently, but when I have a little kid that says, Miss Moen, are you going to come to my game? I'm like, honey, I'll be there. Yeah. I'll be there, and sometimes it's funny too, because I'll go watch my own grandson or granddaughter wrestle. And I have little guys that wrestle and they're like, oh, you're here to see me? I go, yeah, I sure am, buddy. I'm here to, but again, I'm here to watch all of them. But
it makes them feel good to have people in the stands. And that's just human nature. You want people there to cheer you on and have that energy. So, yeah.
So maybe I'm going to bring it back to the core. And I guess I don't know when this became the tagline, but it is the strength of the pack is the wolf. And the strength of the wolf is the pack.
Yep.
For those out there listening that maybe have no participants in their household, why does it matter? And what does that really mean? Because I'll say, if it was just about high school sports, it's a lot of time, commitment, effort if it's just about that, but I'll be the first to say it's not. And it's about life skills, learning to show up for each other, being a good teammate, being coachable. What can you guys bring to the tagline, to the need for the skill set that organized activities bring to a student in their most impactful developmental years?
I think, it goes on with academics, right? Some kids, a lot of times, they may not be a great academic kid, but they play sports or raise their academics, right? So we're molding the whole person. I always, in our character leadership, it's person before the player, right? And I think I said you're only as good as who you are as a person long term. And I think, once again, kids aren't going to remember a game. They're not going to remember how many points they had or how many touchdowns they scored or what their golf score, but they're going to remember the bus trip. They're going to remember the times you went out to eat. They're going to remember conversations you have with coach. And I said, most rewarding part is coaching is the kids coming back after they graduate and stopping in and saying hi. I mean, that hits different. Being invited to a wedding, of a former player. I think everybody who's been in athletics and or activities, whether it be in the choir, whether it be in speech, and they get, they invite their speech teacher or their choir teachers. I mean, I think that hits home with a lot of it. And I think, that's why I do what I do, is to impact people for life, right? And it will make an impact. So that's where it sort of hits home with me a little bit. It doesn't matter how good athlete you are. If you're not a good person, we're trying to mold the whole person here. So I think, and we're only as strong as the people we put around us, right? And that's why this community is like that, right? It's community based. So everything we do has to be about the kids, and that's why we're creating the Booster Club, is for the kids in all activities and all sports, and that's really what it comes down to. It's not about because they don't want to be part of this because they want something from it. It's because they're vested, right? And we have people that are vested here. That's why creating this Booster Club is so important, to give kids opportunities and to give them lifelong experiences that they can remember after they graduate.
Well, we got 2,300 students in our school district. 1,100 of them are in middle school and in high school, right? Between the two, we have about 1,100 kids. It's crazy that, we don't have people turning out as much. Again, I don't even know what our athlete count is total between, and I don't know if Justin knows either, but maybe Mr. Foss would know. But again, every kid, depending on, has at least two people in the stands, but, and again, I understand parents, and parents have to work. And in our community, some of our jobs are 24/7 for, our community works 24/7. There's things open all the time, right? I mean, meaning in the oil field and not necessarily our businesses, but, I get that too, right? And we were talking earlier about our school district has been kind of in a triage situation for many years, trying to catch up. And now I think we're kind of at that point, and we're not always trying to catch up because we've got beautiful facilities now. We have a few more things, I think, that are coming up, like Justin said, but I mean, we're there. So now it's time to show up, right?
Angie, do you have any additional thoughts on?
Well, just, talking about the wolf is the pack and the pack is the wolf, is, that comes down to each individual. This isn't something that happens over the night with just a small group of people. We need the community to get involved with this. We need, people that have just moved here maybe in the last year or two that have these different ideas. But, we need assistance, in coming up with ideas and being a part of it. And then we hope people show up. So we want people to show up for this golf scramble, because it can't just be done by a small group of people making that shift and getting everybody. We need an all hands on approach with this. So
be open to change too, as well, right? Be open to change, Absolutely. To try some things new that, it may not be great the first year, but it'll be, we got to keep growing it. And that's, not be complacent and say, well, this is what they used. This is what this is new, right? So we got to be open to, to change and for new ideas. So I think and I think everybody is, because they want to see change, and they want to see, not only success, but the community have an ownership in all this stuff. Yeah. And I think the more support that they have ownership in it, I think people are open for that, so it's exciting.
I just think of even the cultural fair, right? That's a activity done by the student council.
I think,
Yeah. I mean, that's just phenomenal how many people participate, and like it's just grown over the years. And so things like that too. And I think that becomes, who would have thought 10 years ago, right? That how many different cultures live in Watford City. We're mainly Scandinavians and Germans, and that was pretty much it. And now we are very multicultural, which is super cool. And we get to embrace all of those and create a new culture.
Yeah, our recipe card added a lot of ingredients over the last decade. Yes. Okay, cool. I feel like we have definitely talked about, the outline and the goals of our time together today. Brock, is there anything we missed?
Maybe contact info?
Absolutely. So we talked a little bit about the Facebook page, and can you accept private messages through that page? Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other contact information you want to leave? Because then Brock drops it in the show notes.
I do have a Gmail for us, and I just don't know what it is right now. It's on.
Okay.
It's on.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
We'll get it in there.
Perfect. Plug it into the show notes and it'll be.
I think it's wcbooster1915@gmail.com. But I will check.
Okay. And we will get that accurate and into the show notes. I just want to say before I get into definitely the rounds of thank you alls, is I think next year is going to be a very exciting year. Coach Dooley and his football team, those boys have been all in. Like, we have a fencing crew made up of 3 of the football players, and I hear constantly about the excitement they have for the upcoming season. So I know several of those games are really early in August and even before school starts, which is a little bit unfortunate, but certainly there's going to be a lot of great games in September, home games in September, and homecoming. And homecoming is always really fun. In Watford, the activities department gets food trucks out and all the things. So I really encourage people to get out and get behind those fall sports. And there are a lot of them. There's soccer, there's golf, there's cross country, there's football, there's volleyball, and those schedules are all online and you can Google search them and they pop right up beautifully. And then we're going to roll into winter activities. And what I always say is the best thing about winter activities in North Dakota is you have 6 months of winter activities because we have 6 months of winter, but super excited for both basketball programs. I can speak personally, like, Coach, thank you for your all-in investment. Those boys have bought into all the hard work and the commitment and are holding each other accountable. So thank you for that. We really appreciate that. Excited for that. And then we're going to roll into spring. And what we know is the year goes fast every year. And it's just like Angie pointed out, it's a finite time, your high school years, your best years, like all that goes into that, just the encouragement of being involved. Any last thoughts?
Sign up for the booster scramble on August 12th. So
that's our first big event. Yeah. And then we'll have probably another one in the winter.
An event.
And
that'll be announced. Do you have any ideas, any teasers, like what that will look like? No pressure.
No, not yet. I don't want to say anything yet because I'm not sure. We'll have to see because, again, we work as a board. So we, everybody, again, we might have this really cool idea that somebody might send us. And we might have to go with that too. But I mean, there was a couple of cool things we had when I was in Nevada that we did. And I was going to reach out to some former colleagues and say how they ran those and see if we could do something like that here. But again, I just come support the Booster Club, come support our student athletes, come in as a community. I think it's just really important for all of it.
It takes a pack.
Yes.
It takes a herd. Go Bison. Hopefully that doesn't get me in trouble. Go Wolves. It takes a pack. So, okay, if there's nothing else, I just want to honestly, truly, sincerely thank each and every one of you for what you do because you pour into the youth and you pour into their futures in multiple ways. When I heard the Booster Club was being created, my fear goes to the same 10 people show up for everything, but what we know about those same 10 people is they're all in. So thank you for being those 10 people. Appreciate you all. The community appreciates it and look forward to all that the boosters have to offer moving forward. We're very excited. So thank you guys so much and for being here today.
Thanks for having us. We're excited.
Absolutely.
And we're looking for more board members, by the way, just so you know.
Perfect. Y'all heard it.
And
Yeah.
committee members, if you're interested in helping, come along.
Yeah.
Should be fun.
Any age, you have to be 18.
You have to,
Okay.
you can't be a student.
Okay.
18.
I mean,
Yeah.
this, for example, I think some of the things at the scramble, though, I think we're a couple of student athletes can help out with like the games and things like that. I think is that right?
Yeah, they can. They would be helping out with the game. We had cornhole set up on one side of the list. I think.
Yeah.
Some duck. What was it? Putt the duck. I don't know. Chip the duck.
Yeah,
Something, I
do
don't
something
know.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
And even with our silent auction and things like that. But so again, get involved,
Excellent.
please.
in fall sports registration is open for athletes. So that link was figured out last week. So they got that fixed a little bit. So get registered and get a physical.
And physicals are actually, there's a couple free days. So find that on the school district Facebook page too.
Another important thing, which really doesn't have to do with Booster, but as a school in general, you have to register your student. Even if you were a student last year at our school, please re-register, because part of registration is the fact that that's how we determine how many teachers we need, how many classrooms we need. We can assume that you're coming back, but we don't always. But you need to re-register your child. And if you're having problems with registration, there's a gal at the district office that will help you get through registration. So
Okay, so I do have to ask one more question because it's much like the bus barn situation. Even if the student registered with their counselor and knows their classes, they still go in and
that's
re-register?
what I understand, that all students are supposed to register
Okay,
On the
very
website,
good.
yeah.
Okay.
on the website.
Okay, good to know. Parents, you heard it. There's 2,400 of you all, not parents, but kids. So let's get registered.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And register for activities.
Yes, register
it.
for
Yes,
sports.
right.
That's not for
Yeah.
sports. Absolutely.
Make it happen. Okay, thank you all so much. Until next time.
Thanks, Vanita.
Thanks.